I'm here representing a movie called The Business Trip, which is a Vince Vaughn feature film from New Regency Pictures. And you know, we're proposing a couple days of filming in the neighborhood, the waterfront, essentially, which will be Friday, November 22nd, and Monday, November 25th. And just to sort of give a blow-by-blow of what the plan is our two locations are on Friday and Monday, the Fairmount Battery Wharf. And we have a little bit of work at the intersection of Battery and Commercial. And then the rest of the filming on Friday at the Battery Wharf, Fairmount, is at their lobby in the promenade out back. The scene on the street, which will take place probably between 12 and 2, is basically our character running down Battery Street toward Commercial, jogging, exhausted, and praying for the light to turn red. So it's going to be the action out at that intersection. It's going to involve taking some resident spaces on Battery for that time being. And it's also going to involve a little bit of traffic control on Commercial at that time. Once we complete that work, we'll be sort of on the Fairmount property and the BRA property of the Harbor Walk for our rest of our time at that location, which will be till about 4 or 5 p.m. And then we move over to the Waterboat Marina over at Long Wharf, and we'll be there for the rest of the evening. Well, call it 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. It's a night scene, so we won't start filming there until the sun's down. But in order to facilitate that shot, there's going to be a significant light process, which the biggest of which will be a condor, 100-foot condor, which will articulate up, maybe 30 feet, 40 feet, and rake light along Commercial Wharf, the harbor side of Commercial Wharf, or I guess the Marriott side of Commercial Wharf building. Reached out to them. I think they're doing their sort of inner homework and information. We're proposing to park that in a private way. I don't know what that private way really is called, but I think it's Commercial Wharf, the private way between the gym and the apartment building. I'm working on securing enough parking spaces there for that to take place. And as you mentioned, we'll reach out to the building if they want any windows blocked or anything like that. We can accommodate any needs that the apartment complex would have.
Parking lounges.
What's that?
The parking lounge.
I'll get to that. And then the other sort of bit is that you have small lighting that's going on along Commercial Wharf. A lot of those lights will all be put on private property and shouldn't be impacting any residents. But the impact that we'll have on residents for both those days, will be parking. Again, as I said, we're going to be taking up resident parking on Commercial at Battery. We'll provide parking vouchers for residents who want that at the North End Garage and Sergeant Wharf parking. So we'll have those on site. That is really sort of the rundown of Friday. We'll finish by 11 p.m. All the lights will go down, and we'll be on our way. We'll be coming back on Monday, which will be solely at the Fairmount. And basically all of our work there is sort of in front of their lobby Monday. So we'll still have a parking presence on Commercial at Battery Wharf, not as big as Friday. And I think we'll be a lot quieter and a lot sort of smaller footprint, I guess, if you will, on Monday. We're going to do our best to keep as much truck and equipment off the street and away from residences and things like that. We're gonna be parking our stuff at the parcel 2B in the Greenway, off of Beverly Street. We're gonna headquarter from there and launch the equipment in stake bed trucks, so we'll have a much smaller footprint than maybe what you're used to, but we still look like the circus.
Quick question, Greg. When I worked as a second unit locations assistant on the town, when they filmed in the North End,
Sure.
I made myself available as late as 10 or 11 at night for
Yeah.
people to meet me somewhere convenient in the North End to give out parking vouchers. How do you propose to go about making it, whether it's you or anyone else, available
Yeah.
to those residents that would like to get a voucher?
It would be much the same way that we did on the town. Actually, I did the town, so I have fuzzy memory, but we'll have people on site. I'll have all the locations assistants that work for me. We'll have those vouchers. We'll make it easy for people that want it, and I'll communicate with you where they'll be, how to do it.
And there'll be
as
a
well.
number on the flyer, right?
Yes.
That they can
Absolutely.
call, the people can call.
Everybody, there'll be a phone number as a lifeline for anybody has questions, concerns, things like that. Good question.
Anyone on the council have questions? Or any residents have questions, anyone? How many spots you can take up all battery?
No, the battery parking that we're gonna take up is, I said, if you're walking towards the Fairmont on Battery, I would call it from the middle of the road on the right-hand side down.
It's taken
Probably
inside
about
the Madonna del Cava.
Okay. All right.
Probably about 8 spaces
Okay.
there, just far enough, and then we'll plant our cars there. And that really is just a continuity issue, because Vince jogs by, we just want the cars to be the same, and we don't want anyone to be white.
Okay.
So it'll be just those spaces for that amount of time, I'll give it back.
Anyone else?
What about the other part of Battery Street?
The other part of Battery Street, which would be across commercial on the Fairmont side, right now what we're proposing is as you're leaving that on the right-hand side, putting a generator, which is our silent or insulated generators, and parking the stake beds to offload. So I guess it's not a really great way to describe it, but that first building, there's a cutaway in between that is an easy access to the lobby, the hotel lobby of the Fairmont. So the plan would be on that side of the street to occupy those spaces with the generator and the stake beds that will be offloading equipment. And again, providing parking for any of those that we
And no
take
more
up.
you're not taking any parking in front of the hotel on Commercial Street?
On Commercial Street on Monday, so the parking footprint that we'll have is Commercial Street to the Coast Guard entrance on the Fairmont side.
That's mostly handicap.
We'll stay out of the handicap spaces. Most of that parking,
Not what he's gonna be, we talked about the
Yeah.
handicap spots.
yeah, but in general, I avoid handicap spaces.
Yeah.
The part of that parking will be for the visual, of the jogging to the light, just to keep the continuity of the cars the same. And then, I'll have a couple, we're out of handicap spaces, but basically, a lot of that parking, once we're done with that intersection, will be just space for the stake beds to pull up to offload, which is in lieu of having the circus of what trucks
And what
have.
about parking on North Street? You taking that still or no?
The parking on North
On
Street?
Commercial at North?
I would say maybe 3 car lengths at the mouth of North Street, probably on both sides. And really the idea for that is also to support that 12 to 2, 12 to 3. So a stake bed can nose in there, offload the camera out the back, easily accessible to the intersection of Commercial and Battery.
So you'll take parking on Commercial, North, and then both sections of Battery?
Correct, correct.
Just so everyone.
And that footprint really is for Friday. Will be much smaller on Monday, but, truth be told, we'll want some of the Commercial Street parking and Battery parking on the Fairmont side for Monday.
And that's 8 spaces total?
I wouldn't say it's 8 spaces total, but
Isn't that what you said before, 8 spaces?
on Battery, on the one side for Friday,
Can you just tell us how many spaces total?
I'm guessing 7 or 8 on Battery for the Friday. And that would be on the neighborhood side of Commercial Street. And we'll relinquish that parking back, call it 4 or 5 PM on Friday.
How many vouchers you gonna give out? Do you just give out a per?
I'll give out as many spaces I take,
So
I'll
if
have.
if you take up 10 spaces, you give 10 vouchers?
Exactly. And I live in the neighborhood, so I know what parking's like.
But Greg, aren't you gonna take parking across from the Prince Building too? Right in front of the sail loft?
Yes,
In between sail loft and Lewis Wharf on Friday night?
At this point, I don't think so. I think
Okay.
we might stay in the BRA.
Okay.
Because I mean, this could tweak or change, but at this point, I think we can service ourselves fine with the BRA parking. Which will be on Long Wharf, by the aquarium side of that, the BRA property, we are allowing us to park our work trucks, leaving a fire.
You're gonna flyer everybody too, obviously.
Absolutely,
All right.
absolutely. The flyering will happen Tuesday of next week, letting everybody know about Friday.
Maybe we can do all Battery, that area in Commercial.
Yep.
North,
You can do around Hanover too?
North Street.
No, all right.
Yeah, I'll do the residents of
Just
Battery
be
Street.
thorough, that's all.
Be thorough, check.
I'll call Nicole, so. Anyone else have any questions? Thank you, Greg, I appreciate it. Thanks for
All
coming by,
right.
pal.
Thank you.